All right, good morning still. I think we're complete. Hope you're having a fantastic JNUC. So my name is Dennis. I will be a session host for the remainder of this morning. I'm happy to introduce our speaker for today, Cass Fitzpatrick from the State Fair Community College. He's going to talk to you about end-user computing in higher education. Thank you.
Thank you. So, like you said, we're going to talk about empowering end users in higher education using self-service for inclusive deployment. My name is Cass Fitzpatrick. I am a specialist level 2 at State Fair Community College. I am the sole Jamf admin. I help with Intune. I help with AV services. We have a small shop, so I do a lot. So for access, accessibility tools are the tools that impact the way we interact with everything. There are some common accessibility tools that most people think of, like buttons that assist with opening doors and closed captions on video media. But there's other common tools that people are less likely to think of, like corrective lenses, like glasses or contacts, and preferences and how we use our computers. Self-service should bring those preferences to the forefront for the users that rely on them. When we're designing self-service for the everyday user, we need to think about all of those, the students, the staff, and the faculty. Higher education is very digital. It is digital by default. Even our most hands-on classes and courses have an element that requires access to digital tools, Canvas, email. So even our people over in building trades, in welding, they still need access to digital tools just like any of our other students. Computing access is access to education, communication, and employment. When self-service is the solution for needs, our users will turn to that for software, for fixes, and configuration. All of these tools can aid in accessibility. We do have, at State Fair, our users are not admins. Standard access has some restrictions, and elevation requires formal approval for specific roles. When users are met with prompts for admin approval for changes to certain settings, it can cause a work stoppage, and then we end up with urgent tickets that we need to go address right away for class to be able to move forward or for our instructors to continue grading. Proactive work through PPPC deployments allows standard users to make approvals without admin intervention. Accessibility settings can be toggled by standard users manually as long as they know where to find them. There are some gaps in access. Built-in accessibility tools don't require admin approval, but many of our students and employees are interacting with macOS for the first time. They may not know the name of the setting they're looking for, and some of them may not identify as having a disability or needing accommodations, which stops them from seeking out the Disability Resource Center for help with those things. Often we assume that those that need help will ask for it. That's not always the case. If you're having trouble with hearing in class, you might ask to move forward, but you might not even know that you can have live transcription or another live captions to help with that. An accessibility tool may be the difference between getting by and thriving. So our approach, we build it in. Access is a normal part of what self-service offers. We are reducing barriers before they become tickets by planning for common support needs, and access is part of our deployment strategy rather than a patch after the fact. And then we have pre-built access options that are ready based on those common needs. So what this looks like in Jamf self-service. We have app launches and web-based tools. Otter is a browser-based tool that launches in Safari. I use this one personally a lot. It is a live transcription, and it works great for note-taking and summarizing. The live transcription helps me personally for being able to follow the conversations around a table or in a larger classroom setting. And then for Zoom and Teams, those apps have PPPC installs, and that's on automatic detection. So when Zoom is installed, that profile is installed to automatically allow standard users to approve screen capture so they don't have to ask for admin assistance. Then we also have scripted helper dialogues. These come up and walk users through finding common vision, hearing, and mobility settings. So here's an example. This is our Captions helper. When it's selected, it automatically opens settings to the accessibility section. It shows instructions using this AppleScript dialog, and the policy description matches the description in the AppleScript so that if a user hits got it immediately when that pops up because they want it to go away, their instructions are still there for them in self-service. And there's no admin required for this setting, so they can toggle captions on themselves. This also points them to where the hearing settings are, so if they need to make audio adjustments, they are now made aware of the hearing options. Our next example is for hover text. When hover text is selected, the accessibility section is opened. Instructions are again provided with policy description matching. This empowers low vision users who prefer magnification over screen reader technology. And it supports users who are familiar with Macs and who are new to Mac OS. These instructions can easily help, the neighbor next to you at your table, get you to those settings so that you can use that hover text without it becoming, a ticket, a visit to disability resources, a disruption to class, and everything can continue moving forward more smoothly. So there's some functional benefits for this as well. Users have access to browse through these accessibility tools before they know to ask for them because they're in self-service in addition to being in settings. Disability services can provide better support when universal tools are already available. And then they can focus on specific support needs that arise as needed. This also means fewer IT tickets and faster support resolution. It's not a ticket every time somebody wants to turn on captions because they can find it there. Additionally, if there is a ticket asking for help turning on captions, we can direct them to self-service, which will help them open settings and point them to the right spot. So we're going to meet an imaginary user now. This is the profile for our imaginary user, Riley. Riley has some visual access needs, prefers magnification and color inversion with increased contrast. These settings are easily found through self-service helpers, even if it's their first time on Mac. That increased contrast can help with some visual needs, and color inversion can help with glare. Our next imaginary user is Jordan. Jordan is an instructor with motor access needs, perhaps limited use of one of their arms. They use voice control, and they like Otter for transcribing notes for classes. The next user is me. Obviously, I'm not an imaginary user. I'm standing right here. I'm a real employee with hearing loss. I work in the IT services office. I use flash notifications, I use Captions, and I use Otter live transcribe, like I mentioned before. These users, Riley and Jordan, they're personas, imagined characters, but their needs are real. They could be on your campus, in your workplace. They're everyday users, and this setup supports your campus, your users too. And students with disabilities become our employees with disabilities as well. So a couple core takeaways. We don't have to make everything automatic, but we do need to make the tools discoverable for those that need them. And self-service should be a full toolkit, and accessibility is part of that. Looking forward, let's just continue to center visibility, support autonomy, and remain mindful that users know their needs, even if they don't always know the names of those tools in a specific operating system. I have a little slide here honoring those who access the world in ways not always visible. And thank you. We can go to questions now. I realize I talked really fast, but. He's got a microphone. I'll pull up the captions for myself here.
I'm not familiar with Otter. Can you expand on what that does?
For sure. So this one. Otter is kind of like the Wordly tool that we had pulled up. It listens and it will transcribe. It'll also do a recording, so it's good for people with visual needs too. There's a free version. It's limited to, I believe, 30 minutes. And then there's a paid version available as well, and I think an enterprise version. So it will transcribe. It uses AI to transcribe, and it'll even denote which speaker is talking.
When you're getting self-service set up for these students, faculty, other staff on campus, is there a specific onboarding process that you do with them to introduce them to self-service? Or is it more of, hey, this is on your dock or your general desktop, that's where you're going to go to get this support and help?
So when we have a new employee, staff, or faculty come in, we always have a one-on-one with them to walk through the tools that are available to them on their device, whether it's Windows or a Mac, getting them logged into Teams, Office products and everything. And I always make sure to touch base, do you need any accessibility tools, regardless of operating system? For specifically the classrooms, we have some lab computers, and those get visited by our staff. So we mention our self-service app. If there's anything in self-service, that's stuff that we've already provided. You're welcome to it. If you have any questions, please reach out. And it's a bit of an onboarding, bit of an orientation.
Hello. Do you have like a GitHub or like a place where some of your scripts or PPCs are collected to share?
I uploaded the scripts for the helpers to like handouts for this session, so they should be available in the stuff that's available for the session. I don't have a GitHub or anything, but they're super short. I realized after I definitely should have put a slide in with that, but I have I think 6 OSA scripts in there.
So just to follow up on that, Are you calling directly into like system settings with a bundle identifier through the OSA script, or are you using a path of some kind, or how did you accomplish that to get them right to where they need to make their setting?
So it gets the user and opens settings for them. Sorry, I don't remember without it right in front of me. But it's real short. It's just a couple lines, maybe 20 lines of code, just to pop open OSA script and present them with the information there and pull up the settings.
First of all, thank you. This has also brought to mind the idea of keeping accessibility in mind as we approach things like enforcing compliance on devices. I had a couple questions in terms of, have you seen any benefit in differentiating from the language Apple uses in system settings versus what you use in self-service that has been of benefit to your users? And have you also had to do any sort of like priming or sort of like a chicken and egg sort of thing where you've had to provide accessibility to be able to use what you have offered in self-service?
So I do try to align pretty closely with the language. So here I have select voice control. It's the first option under the motor heading, and toggle voice control on. And that's kind of aligned with how our conversations with our students and staff go, to just reduce the number of steps, reduce that, that access burden, I guess. And then, sorry, I was looking back. Yeah, I think just, having clear language that feels conversational and having that touch point with them before it comes up for, onboarding or orientation is a big benefit.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks so much, Cass, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And I think we're off to lunch, soon. So I wish you a very good JNUC and safe travels home later on.